With Far Cry Primal, Ubisoft Montreal has taken the bold decision of making a first-person shooter without much actual shooting. Alright, you do get to shoot other cave dudes and various kinds of prehistoric beasts in the face with arrows, and you also get to bash their skulls in with really nasty looking clubs and poke them with pointy sticks, but as this is 10,000 BC, there's a distinct lack of assault rifles with underslung grenade launchers, and perhaps surprisingly, the game's still pretty fun. I got to play Far Cry Primal, on PS4 unfortunately, at a preview event last week. You play as Takar, a displaced member of the Wenja tribe. Following a nasty brush with a saber-toothed tiger that leaves your chums looking like not-so-happy meals, you stumble into the land of Oros and meet a nice but mad-eyed Wenja lady. She tells you that the rest of the tribe has been driven out of their home by the Udam, who are pretty up there on the cannibal nutcase scale of cave people. In what's another crushing blow to prehistoric gender equality, the lady is then left to make camp at some caves while you set off into the Central European open world to reclaim your birthright. In this instance, reclaiming your birthright mainly involves hunting animals, gathering resources, and fighting loads of Udam warriors. As for the combat, well, if you've played any of the hunting in the recent Far Crys, you'll have a decent idea of what to expect. The ranged weapons feel fine, landing headshots with the bow and arrow is fun, and the thunk of a perfect spear throw is even better, but there's a lack of subtlety to the melee stuff. The animation looks nasty in a good way, but it all feels a bit kind of button mashy and basic in a sort of swishy Skyrim sort of way. Another thing that disappointed me is that rather than a complete retool for the series, Primal really is a lot like normal Far Cry but without the guns. There doesn't seem to have been much effort put into making your cave character feel like a live athletic badass who's vaulting around the forest looking for his next kill. He just feels like a regular Far Cry dude who's lost his NRA membership card. But to spice things up in the absence of any high caliber weaponry, he does have Beastmaster powers. These enable you to tame increasingly powerful animals, starting with an owl that lets you go on vision quests scoping the surrounding area like a feathery predator drone, mind that, to more powerful creatures like wolves, bears and cave lions. Again, there's not a ton of subtlety about how the animals work. At the tap of a button you can sick them on your enemies, and after taking enough damage they'll need to be healed with a meaty snack. You can also pet them, which feels awesome after they've torn through a bunch of Udam warriors, but otherwise doesn't have any practical purposes. Beyond the awesomeness. Dead beasts can be revived from the menu at the cost of some resources, and I'm not going to lie to you here, summoning your own weaponised bear is always going to be a good thing. The overall structure of the game is also pretty familiar to previous Far Crys. You need to collect stuff that will enable you to craft stuff that will enable you to collect more stuff. In addition to the evil Udam tribe, there's the almost equally evil Azila to worry about, and the bad news is they've mastered the use of fire. Completing stories and side missions will make the population of your camp swell, and you can also recruit important Wenja characters like this shaman guy who have unique abilities. Build them their own hut, upgrade it, and new nodes on Takar's skill tree will open up. Just don't get too attached to that camp you've been lovingly building. My biggest surprise from Far Cry Primal is that I didn't really miss the guns. The cat and mouse element of stalking an Udam raiding party and then stoving their brains in is fun, and the prehistoric setting is refreshing, even if the mix of made up language with English subtitles feels a bit daft. If anything though, I wish Ubisoft had doubled down on making Primal even more different to regular Far Crys and created a character who felt a bit more wild and physical and powerful. I also wonder whether the game will struggle to create big set-piece battles without firearms, but some of the later missions did scale up the action. We'll know more when the game arrives on PC on February 23rd. For more Far Cry Primal coverage, keep your browser pointed at pcgamer.com.